Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Welcome to my show. Well, if this pandemic has taught any of us anything, it's grit. To talk about grit today, Timothy R. Johnson. He's a best-selling author, speaker. He's known as the Global Renegade. Welcome to the show, Timothy.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Well, I always say that, they don't make movies about people who were born rich, had no adversity, and died rich, because nobody would go see that movie. You were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, were you?
No, imagine being 6 years old and you wake up to find out your dad's a serial killer. I was molested, I was beaten, sister committed suicide, a brother of mine shot his dad in the face, and just a bunch of stories. But when I was 19 years old, I was introduced to a man, Ron Rogers, which was my first mentor. And what was interesting is I heard the Vietnam vets start telling me these crazy stories, and life didn't seem to suck after that.
So when you have this kind of childhood, I mean, it would be easy for you to go down the wrong path. So mentors, like the ones you just described, showed you the way. Is that right?
Well, one of the challenges that at the very beginning was that my story I thought was a curse. But actually, my story was a gift given to me by God. And the reason I believe that is because we live in the 80th percentile of the world, or the 90th percentile. I mean, like, I could walk from here to where the bookcases are behind me for a glass of water, but a lot of the world can't.
Absolutely. Well, we've got some video of you speaking because you're a much sought after speaker. You speak on a number of different topics, but one of the ones that you speak about is sales. In fact, I think one of your nicknames is the Sales Whisperer. Talk about today's salespeople. A lot's been made out of the millennial generation and the Gen Zs. Do they have the same sales skills that their parents and grandparents did?
I don't believe so. I believe everybody receives information differently. I believe if you know their love languages, what they permit, they promote. There's a mentor of mine, Tom Schaff, I talk about a lot, and really it's just 5 steps. It's where are they presently, where do they want to be in the future, what are the challenges they face in getting there, what did they attempted to fix it, and what's the impact if they don't. So imagine for a moment during an event and all they do is talk about themselves. What does your mind do? It shuts off. See, your product or service is just a tool that connects them to the bigger reason of why they want to achieve or what they want to achieve in the future.
Yes. And I find, tell me if you agree, that the follow-up is so important. I mean, there are lots of opportunities, and sometimes the customer doesn't always say yes on the first ask. Is there a stick-to-itiveness that's necessary for?
No, I wouldn't say a stick-to-itiveness. It's the quality of the questions we ask will equal the quality of life we live. In my experience, people listen for 3 words. The problem is, the challenge is, the issue is. If you listen with a different ear, they're telling you why they're not buying.
Yes, yes. We've got some video of you being interviewed because I know that you are often a guest on TV shows, radio shows across the country. When you're invited on, are you typically talking about sales tips and techniques, or what's your favorite topic to talk about?
Actually, my actual favorite thing to talk about, if you look at the video on my website, is I wrote the book How to Get Rich by Being Cheap. And it was just being frugal in the way you buy when you're starting to build your rent portfolio, or whatever vertical you're going to go to save money, you either got to run lean at the beginning, because you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later.
Yes. And is this a good time to start a business? During a time of economic pullback, do you consider it a good time or a bad time?
No, listen. There's 33.5 million people out of business, are literally on unemployment right now. Unemployment is paying them more to stay home than to go to work.
Wow.
So there's been more opportunities in the last 8 weeks that have shown up in my door than in the last decade.
Wow. Well, give some advice to those people who have been laid off. Some of them can be very discouraged. I understand that. One of my favorite expressions is you got to circulate to percolate. You can't
Yep.
just stay at home and hope that your situation changes, right?
So when my business partner and I wrote the book Sold, it stands for strategy. The objections are the opportunities. You leverage your referral partners, and you duplicate and automate, you're going to get sold more. And here's what I mean by that. Pareto's principle says that you're supposed to spend 80% of your time with the 20% of people you're for. So math says that 4 out of every 5 clients are not for you. But if you're meeting people, who do you have in your circles that you could refer them to and get a referral check?
Brilliant. It's not necessarily who you know, it's who you get to know. And part of that is getting out from behind your computer and meeting people.
No, there's this really expensive thing called phone and Google.
Right.
Okay. Think about this, right, Jeff, just for a second. A farmer gets up at 6 a.m. every single day, relentless, to get 1 paycheck a year. What you sow now is what you'll reap in the future.
Yes. Timothy, you are a great guest. We absolutely have to have you back. I know you get to Dallas a few times a year. Please promise me you'll come in studio the next time you're in Dallas.
I'd love to.
Absolutely. We're going to put your website, timothyrjohnson.com is the website. Get a hold of him. He's truly inspiring. Timothy, thanks again for being on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thanks, sir.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.